Hello everyone. We are back with the second episode of UXH Demo Days. First one was very interesting, and today we have reversed the role. Akshay will be showcasing one use case he will be demoing around Figma. And over to you, Akshay.
Hey, hi. I think this is very specific to design as an industry. I'm
Hmm.
calling the product, it's version 1.0 Figma Fixer. I'll give you a little context. What happens is you're working for a client, and this is more relevant for, say, a design studio. You have multiple clients, like we have clients that we do design work for. And you
Yeah,
have a lot
yeah,
of work that is done. There are two types of work. One is fixed work, whereby you have to create, say, an app entire, and everything is defined, documented. But after that project is done, there is part two, which is edits to that existing design. Those edits, the way to communicate them is one via call, or because it is a screen related, putting comments in Figma files. Over a period of time, those
got it.
comments can really grow. The example I'm going to show is has about
Hmm.
400 comments. And we work with freelancers. We delegate these to other designers to work on. It is very important to
True.
understand what those comments are, standardize them, decide whether something needs to be assigned, who it has to be assigned to. That is where this tool helps a person like me.
If I understood, it is more about improving the reviewing on the commenting system on top of Figma.
Yes, absolutely. The
Yes,
baseline
yes.
is Figma, obviously. This
Yeah,
is a client file. Some of it will be masked for you. But a client file has, as I mentioned, like this one actually has 400 plus comments over a period of time. These edit comments themselves
got it.
need to be classified. First of all, we need to also ascertain the effort, because there's a commercial value to that. And then you have to tell the client that this is the effort and they have to agree to that. It's classifying information and then putting it across to different stakeholders. One stakeholder is the client. Second stakeholder is your
Hmm.
internal team if you have. Third is the designer if you're working with, say, a freelance person. The problem with Figma is that
Okay.
if you try to put a comment, it is just natural
Hmm.
language. Anybody can do anything. You can just write
Yeah.
anything. The source of information is just rudimentary. It is thoughts that somebody has. Most likely, the client is a business person. The client is not a designer.
What we're trying to say is that this is what a designer will create in terms of
Correct.
screens. This gets shared to the client or whoever wants to review it.
When I say client, it is
Yeah,
anybody external to your design firm. It could be
got
like
it.
the client is sharing with, say, a developer who's developing the product. Then there is the marketing department. Could be
Right.
anybody. When I say client, it is anybody external to your environment.
They get to see the same screen and they can add a comment.
This is the only way they
Correct?
can communicate. Yes. Other way is even more complicated. You make an Excel file and say, but then there is no XY, there's no coordinate. The beauty of a Figma
Hmm.
comment also is
Hmm.
that you know where it is, where it lies. This works
Got it.
great for a
Got
designer
it.
to read it, but the designer can work on it. The designer can't categorize it. It's not the designer's job to understand that this is a high level comment, this
Hmm.
cost more, this is a low level comment, or how much time I should spend, etc. We want to make the designer's job easier and the client's job easier as well. And we are sitting in the middle of
Sure.
those two people.
Sure.
This
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
environment that I've created. The UI is very basic because this is an internal tool. At the top is where most of the
Correct.
information happens, and here a table will come up. At the
Got
right
it.
end
Yeah.
is the Figma file that we have. It shows a cross
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Figma is limiting access to information because their APIs are, it says rate limit exceeded. They have very
Hmm.
strict limits in terms of how much you can pull. And that's why I created this
Hmm.
utility also. And if you see the number of minutes I can access it later,
Nice.
3,200 minutes.
Hmm.
Anyway, that
Hmm.
does not hamper our workflow. Our workflow is just loading, read, and now I will
Yeah.
load the comments. These comments have been loaded. This is
Hmm.
the comment
Hmm.
number, the Figma file that you remember, right?
Hmm.
433. The 433
Yeah.
comment here will correspond to 433 there. Imagine if you have
Nice.
to do this
Okay. Got it.
as an Excel, you will have to copy 433
Hmm.
number, fill. All of this is done.
True.
Now, this is not rocket science. You actually get
True.
plugins for this as well. But the next part is where the science comes in. You also get a link of
Hmm.
Figma frame and a
PSP.
timestamp.
Right.
This is basically aggregation of data and presenting it in a tabular
True.
format. And
Tabular.
then is
Hmm.
where the intelligence starts coming. I
Okay.
used AI to tell me how to solve this. I told it the problem. I said that this is what I want to do. I want to categorize my comments as deletions, frame deletions, text edits, arrangement of frames, or actual designs. And it has to understand that, code it, rule based.
What I got is confidence is basically how confident is the system of the right tagging.
Of the
Correct?
class, yes. Tagging, rule-based tagging,
Okay.
not LLM, not
Got it.
NLP. It's not processing it. It sees certain keywords,
Hmm.
it sees certain elements, and it says, "Acha, this is this." And if you see, it's pretty low confidence.
Okay.
100 is the highest, 0 is the lowest.
Hmm.
Anything above
Hmm.
50 is
Hmm.
decent
Hmm.
confidence. Anything below 50 is pretty low confidence. These are pretty
Hmm.
low confidence.
Hmm. But how does this help? The text part, tags and the confidence. How does it help in improving reviews?
Yeah, part of the job that we do is us
Hmm.
assessing those comments. What is the effort
Hmm.
that is needed for, say, 150 comments? The minute I have a tag, I can then assign a
Hmm.
rule saying that if it's an edit or a delete, basic text edit or a
Got it.
deletion, I
Hmm.
can put an effort of a basic, say, 15-minute effort maximum. There, it will cut down
that
my
way.
effort from 100. I'm basically trying to go down. If you have 100 comments, only 10 will be actually design work. 40% might be rearrangement work, flows, etc. 30% might be deletions, edits, and rest of it might be just minor text and just creation of new designs where the creativity comes in. That is where the human designer is involved. That is the end goal. It's a multi-step kind of a thing, trying to break it down and bringing it to just say 10 or 15 comments that are of value. Rest of it is okay, anybody can do.
Got it. I think I'm more interested in how you have used AI in this.
And what we will do is there were like 400. We are only interested in the unresolved comments. Those are lesser. That is about 127. This helps you filter that as well. Whereas in the Figma file, if it's all there, while you can resolve and there are filters, etc., here you can get a very easy tabulated view. You can just basis the user also who has commented, that also you can filter. There also there are options, but they are not that granular. You can do a lot of controlling with it. You can put, say the comment was between the last 7 days only, because all the information is now with you. Your data source is this, as opposed to going to Figma again and checking. Now the AI part, this confidence we need to increase and we need to improve the tagging. These are the two parts where the AI comes in. Right? Basically understanding what is written here and trying to assign a tag basis that. You have to tell the LLM, you have to take each comment and assign a tag along with this. These are the 4 ones. And if you're not able to figure out, then put another tag. Along with that, the LLM also tells back how confident it is. If the confidence level is higher than 50%, then it will auto tag it to what the AI is saying. If it is less than that, then it'll go back to the default rule. Basically, here it's like a fallback kind of mechanism. The main part is we should not miss the main design comments. For example, add an eye icon. The rule-based thing tends to struggle. There, the LLM works very well because icon it understands, add it understands, it gets a context and it says this is design. Two things that I want to show you in this. One is that this, since it's an internal tool, I didn't want to get a paid plan. I just want to try it out. But I did want to use an LLM. You need to use an API for some LLM that you have access to. And I came across, one is Open Router and the other is Grok, GROQ, not GROK, which is the XAI one, GROQ. And these are API platforms. Grok, I found it to be better. And within that, there are certain free models, completely free models. By completely free, as in you don't have to pay anything to access the APIs. Most of the latest models that are there, most of them you need a paid plan to access. Maybe Gemini we discovered now, but you need a paid plan to get an API level access for that.
But have you tried comparing the effectiveness of using free models compared to, let's say?
My job is very simple right now. My job was to reduce, say, 100 to 80 to 90. It has already come down to 10. I do not need a very complicated or a paid model at all. We are not trying to reinvent something. Maybe when I'm doing creation, when I'm creative task whereby I'm saying make the edit in the design file, there 100% the paid model will do well. It will do much better. But just for basic categorization and tagging, these models suffice. And again, it depends on the quality of the prompt. If you write a better prompt, even a free model will give you decent tagging out. If you see there's a bot that has come here, earlier that was not here, and it says AI ready. This again is related to rate limits because all these APIs, whenever you make any API calls external to your own environment, there is a rate limiting that is there. And me being a novice was not aware, and I was using cursor and it was actually acting like a baby also. It was just like randomly going and hitting. I discovered that every time you need to handle this, and to handle this you need to remember all of it. What is the rate limit for this? What is the rate limit for that? How many will you remember? I said, let's make that as well within a part of my environment. Here I can see the API usage that I'm doing. The model that I'm connecting is Llama and how many requests I can make. These are the, if you go to any of these models which are available, the pricing that pays that there, these are these 4, they are in short form, RPM, etc. That is requests per minute and those kind of tokens per minute, tokens per day, and that it has classified. Now what this does is, because I have 100, each request originally was taking one set of tokens and I didn't know how much context each would take. I would exhaust the free one. You can say that get a paid plan or but the idea was to do it quickly, figure it out whether this is working and then think of a paid one. I wanted to see within this, can I do my whole job? And that's why I've created this. Now what will happen is when I do this process AI, it will put a AI tag along with the current confidence one. You'll see tagging across all of these comments, right? Let's go. And it is processing all of these 10 comments. As you can see, AI has tagged each of these comments with a confidence. And wherever the confidence is higher, we put a threshold of 70%, not 50, because you want to be even more confident. It uses that as the final tag. But exposed to an Excel, the tag that is the most, it's most confident one, that is what it gets exported. Now assume, and there are errors in this, you want to change that. You can override that as well. For example, you think, no, this is not design, this is something else. You can change the tag here also on the fly. This has tremendous value because if you do it as a process, it saves you very easily 30-40 minutes of your time. And that time you can then use to actually design files or assign files and do the reviews, etc. Now within this also I wanted to show you is the prompts that it has written. You can also go and edit the prompts so that you can see that what is it that it is doing. I give it a context. You're a design manager expert at categorizing Figma comments. Classify these each comment into exactly one primary category, and you can tweak this. In this UI itself, you can tweak the comment and it will pass that to the LLM and then come back. This is the power. There in the rule base, while you could do it, it doesn't do that great a thing because there is only whether it finds that word or not. If I say icon, somebody uses some other word which is similar to icon, it will not know. Here it will know icon or like something like. I mean, you can go as deep as you want into this, and all of that then comes back as a response.
Basically, we can override. You have given a feature where we can override the system prompt and the user prompt.
It's just a tool now. It is a tool with a bench of connectors and a data set. The data set can change. The person or the type of persona can change. There are comments, things that are said, things that are exchanged in different industries. So it's a media industry and you're editing, say, a document. That document has a lot of edits or a set of documents. You can use this tool for that as well, as long as you can get access to the base level of information and tag it. Just a very broad analogy that happens. And the last part of this is obviously then to export this. We can export this as a CSV.
Is there a way we can see, can we get thumbnail here?
Yes, 100%. That is where the rate limit comes in. Figma, I think Figma realized very early that if they allow everything to be accessed, then they are not a source of information. The Figma API gives a response of an image, PNG image of that. And in fact, the original tool that I wanted to do was, rather than do it as a text-based thing, you will see the screen here on the left, and I done that, but then I hit limits very quickly. The image on the right and the text here, and then using AI, just fix it in the image and then show the output. And if that is okay, then write back. So original to wo plan hi tha. But again, I mean, it has limits, and those limits are very vague. If you see when you can access it again, 3,250 minutes later is when you can actually retry. The retry interval itself told you that they're saying get lost. Basically, don't do retries on our servers. The Excel file that I was talking about is this is how it looks. These are the comments and everything that you need as an information. And then you can then use it as you want. It's also very professional. If you want to share this with your client and they want a reference, what happened was normally what we used to do is to comment back on saying that the scope of this is wider or this will take more time, etc. It felt a little unprofessional because it becomes a thread within the Figma file. The context is lost. Here what happens is directly the link is there and their conversations happen on the Excel sheet itself. In fact, the client finds it easier to use an Excel than to use Figma. We are forcing the client to use Figma because it is easier for us as design. Now what they can also do is sort and filter. Something is taking 1 hour and something has taken 10 minutes. You will see 1 hour comments and filter them out. They will say, Acha, is this important, not important? Let's work on the minor ones first. They can do their categorization. That's pretty much it. As I said, this is the part that I mentioned. If you show the image, then you can directly edit. Ask the LLM to edit on the image. And maybe we'll have a version 2 whereby that will be like miracle. Oh, wow.
What I see where AI can obviously help is effort estimation. Also automatically they can categorize, at least the text one. This is a low 5-minute job. That will be very helpful. This has definitely utility, at least from the people who review. Now within Figma, there is a plugin marketplace. Are you aware of any existing plugins which does same or similar job?
The great thing about Figma is that you have a marketplace where you can almost get anything that you're thinking about. Several tools that are there which give you comment access, but they do it in their way. There is a plugin called Copy Doc. It has 8 or 9 use cases, very useful use cases like compression, export as a slide deck, lots of different ones. But obviously that has a paid limitation. And your use case is one part of it. They will give you just the comments, but categorization they don't have. You can take that as an input and then act the LLM part whereby. But I did not find any plugin which does categorization. Or definitely no one that does an LLM thing, at least I'm not aware of. You can use a plugin for say part of your job. That's the beauty of GenAI. You can actually build things faster than trying to fit your use case into tools that somebody's made for their use case. If GenAI was not there and I had to code all of this out, I would not do it. I would maybe just rely on the plugin. That is where the beauty of GenAI comes in. It allows you to think that technology is not a limitation. The boundaries are that, the idea if you have what you want to do, you can actually go out. You have to figure out a lot of things, like which API to use, what are the limits, what is the cost, how much time it will take, those kind of things. But those you can, if you go part by part, you can figure them out. Whereas earlier it was like, this is too big a problem for me to code out, and who will do that, and is it worth the cost? Is it worth the term? Even if the plugin exists, for example, doing the tagging, the LLM part definitely, I don't think there is any that.
The edge is obviously what LLM can build the intelligence on top of the commenting thing. This was definitely helpful. I'm a builder. I can think of a lot of ideas how we can extend this, and hopefully we can also publish this as a plugin.
The next step in this is to obviously do the part whereby you can do it on the image, and that will be real wow. This is like
that will be exactly true. That's it from us for the second episode of UXH Demo Days. Do chime in, do comment. What do you think of the series? Bye.
Bye bye. Nice meeting you. Bye.